Hey guys, Steve here, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about make-readies. Today I'm over here at one of our rentals that we've got a make-ready going on. The guys are about done. They haven't told me they're done yet, but I'm sure they will. And of course, as I walk through, I see a number of little things that they haven't taken care of yet, which is something that's kind of typical when you're dealing with your maintenance guys doing make-readies. Depending on the type of property, we have different levels of contractors we use. We have just our maintenance guys. And so that, they all want to get paid right away, but nobody gets paid till we approve everything at the end. So this is just a very typical little house we've got here. You can see it's a 3-2, or actually a 3-1.5. We've had this house for probably about 4 years now. And it's been a great little rental. I've just been doing some talks, some presentations on buying profitable rental properties. And if you've seen any of my presentations, you understand how I buy properties. But for those of you that haven't seen my presentations, I'm going to kind of go over a few things that you really need to think about, I believe, when you're going into buying rental properties. This is a property, this is in the Klein School District. We're over approximately at Veterans Memorial and Antoine. That's the area that we're in right here for this property. So we're in a good school district, and it's not a totally beat up neighborhood by any means of the imagination. This house probably ARVs for around, I want to say around 125, maybe 130. I haven't ran the comps in a while, but I'm pretty sure that that's pretty close to where we are. Over here. I always talk about don't get caught up in the cash flow trap. Buying rental properties is about building wealth. And when you get caught up in the cash flow trap, you can get yourselves in troubles. There's a lot of people around town, most of the gurus, they all go talk about cash flow. And that's the last thing I talk about. So I'm just going to share some numbers about this property so we can kind of talk about cash flow a little bit. Now this particular property, like I said, the ARV is, we'll just say 125. I'm fine with 125. I'm all in at this property for about, it's been a while since we bought it, so I think we're all in probably around $67,000, $68,000 on this house. So we've got a large amount of equity in this house, and if you've seen my talks, I explained why I buy with a minimum amount of equity of $25,000 in every rental property that I buy. So yes, this is a cash flowing property, but I don't think of a cash flow like most people do. We want to have cash flowing properties so we can pay property taxes, so we can pay when we're doing make-readies like this. Our payment, our monthly payment on this thing is right at just over $500 a month. I get $1,300 a month rent on this property. So that gives me a gross cash flow of about $800. And that's where you need to be, because we're going to have expenses that come out of that. And you have to be prepared for those expenses. We also don't spend that money. That money stays in the accounts for the company that owns this property, because we're going to have things like vacancy and make-readies, just like we're going through right now on this property. So when we have a tenant move out, actually we were going to evict this tenant, and they moved out ahead of time, so we got in here immediately. My guy started the make-ready, I think, Thursday, and it's Saturday, so we're 95% done. So hopefully they'll be here today to finish. If not, I'll be on the phone with them to get over here to get these last little items done, so we get a tenant back in here immediately. Because when we have a tenant out of here, we're losing income. We don't have income coming in for this property. And that's $1,300 that's not coming in this month because this property is vacant. Then we had to do a make-ready, so we had to do a complete paint job. We had to replace doors that were broken. Just your typical type of stuff. Some cabinets, doors needed to be fixed, drawers needed to be fixed. It's very standard things that you have to do in make-readies all the time. And this make-ready, I believe, costs us about $2,000. So we're in to our make-ready, and losing income, $3,000. So when you buy these properties with cash flow of only $200, $250 a month, takes one of these and it's going to put you in the hole for a long time before you make that money back. So it's important to buy these properties correctly. So we'll get a tenant in here probably fairly quickly. My manager gets our tenants in very quickly, so we don't lose another month's rent on this property, and we'll get going and be going fine. Now, with that being said, the tenant we had in here, we had this tenant in here for probably I think about 2 years, maybe 2.5 years or so. So they were a decent tenant. Something obviously happened, and they stopped paying, and they were just gone. So that kind of stuff happens when you have rental properties. That's part of the game. But it's my manager gets in it, takes care of it, and we get a tenant back in here. So when you're buying rental properties, think about your cash flow, your properties. Think about how you have to buy them deep enough to where you've got money that you're putting in the bank every month. Then at the same time, think about the equity that you want to have in these properties, because this is about building wealth. And I explain that. I've gone into great detail in all my presentations, my classes on that. So you want to pay close attention to making sure you've got equity in these properties. These are our assets. We want to take very good care of our assets. That's why we get over here immediately and get our make-readies done and get tenants back in. That's also why we don't charge our tenants for trying to handle small repairs. Because when you do that, I know everybody, well, not everybody, but most groups teach to take money out of that tenant's pocket and put it in your lease agreement. I did that in the beginning. I did that for years. And guess what? Those repairs don't get done. This is my asset. I want to take care of it. If there's a small repair, I want to get it taken care of immediately. If it is the tenant's fault, we will back charge the tenant. If the tenant doesn't have the money to pay, then we make notations of it. So when they do move out, it comes out of the deposit. So there's our ways around that, but it also goes to qualifying your tenants well too. But I got a whole 2-day class on all this, so I could go a million different directions. But we're just really talking about, when you have properties, you're going to have make-readies. It happens, and this is just a little simple house, no big deal. We've got our bedrooms back here. I'm standing in the living room. We've got the kitchen back over here behind me. Just a nice little typical 3-1.5. Very, very standard that you see all around town all day long. These are great properties as rental properties. I encourage you to go out and find them and buy them, but buy them deep. Get them with equity in them. That's how you're going to have some cash flow that you can keep in the bank. So when you do have downtimes on that property, you've got money sitting there to pay for it. So a little bit about make-readies and about how to buy them correctly, and hope this is a good education for you, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye.